No, sir. This is what you get for now. We can circle back when you can count.
Okay.
Yo, this is Lee Laurent, and I'm here rocking with All Urban Central. And that clip that you just seen, that's the viral clip of Kanye West abruptly ending and leaving the Piers Morgan Uncensored show. My bad, I mean Ye. As you already know, Kanye legally changed his name to Ye. But if he didn't learn the first time, it's like Piers Morgan needs to put respect on Kanye's name.
If you don't like me, that's fine. But, watch your mouth.
So although Ye and Sneo was prepared to have a productive interview, it seemed like Piers Morgan had another objective at hand. And it seemed like he was a little bitter. However, Ye was able to see through all of that, and he caught all the subs that Piers Morgan was throwing his way.
How would you say your life is at the moment?
I mean, you see that view. Judge me by the view.
Well, the view is Mallorca. I've been there. It's a beautiful place.
So apparently this is not Ye's or Piers Morgan's first showdown. And they apparently have history from previous interviews. And this is not Piers Morgan's first time trying to slander Ye's name and label him with this rhetoric as being an anti-Semitic.
Frequently professes his great love for Adolf Hitler. He poses in swastikas and KKK costumes.
Piers Morgan seems to be leading the charge in trying to label Kanye West, or Ye as we call him, as anti-Semitic, rather than leaving an opportunity during the interview to understand why he's saying what he's saying.
These constant tirades, Ye, against Jewish people.
Piers Morgan brought up the same topic the first time he interviewed Ye, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe the interview ended the same way as the last time.
Interview adjourned. Love you.
So it's not the first time, nor will it be the last time, that Piers Morgan has interviewed an empty chair, especially when it comes to Ye.
With all due respect, Ye, what are you talking about?
So apparently, Ye left the Piers Morgan Uncensored interview prematurely because rather than start the interview off in a friendly manner...
What happened to, hello, how are you? My name is...
Piers Morgan was not putting respect on Ye's name. And obviously, Piers Morgan is known for his aggressive style of journalism, but he was coming in guns blazing, obviously with a bunch of microaggressions, and trying to obviously paint this narrative of Ye with this preconceived agenda that he had already to take Ye down.
Is that I watch what you put out on X. You got 32 million followers, so you're one of the most followed people.
See, wait. Now look right now. You're not gonna take inches off my dick, bro.
Now, while I'm sure that was a pause moment, I'm also very certain that Piers Morgan and his team, especially Piers Morgan with his astute background in journalism and all of his accolades and being a journalist and working with different news outlets, that he knew exactly how many Twitter followers that Kanye had. And him getting Ye's count wrong for his Twitter followers was definitely a microaggression, and he was trying to obviously upset and denote Ye's huge global following. So this was all strategic.
I'm told it's 33 million now, so congratulations. You're slightly bigger following than I thought.
No.
So although the headlines may read differently, like Ye stormed out an interview because Piers Morgan got his Twitter follower number count wrong, that's not the case. The entire interview kind of went like this for the next, minute and a half because Ye left pretty early. But the point is, instead of him trying to interview him and allow Ye to express himself, he was being combative and obviously trying to get a rise out of Ye with false details.
Something like that, it's patronizing for no reason.
Even Piers Morgan saying very sarcastically, congratulations, you have a slightly bigger Twitter following. Him saying that 1 million is a slightly bigger number is completely crazy and is like a form of gaslighting. And obviously 1 million followers is a lot of people.
No, congratulations, your information is correct.
Ye was being extremely perceptive and smart for just leaving as soon as he could, because the interview was not going to go anywhere productive nor positive. However, I do feel bad for Sneo because he did leave, and I guess he caught all the Ye strays because Piers Morgan decided to fire out his true intent and all his questions fired at Ye towards him.
Let me ask you the questions I would have asked him. So, I mean, out of interest, what is with his obsession with Hitler? Why is he so rampantly anti-Semitic?
I'm not going to answer questions on his behalf.
And if you don't already know who Sneo is, he is an online influencer. A lot of people say that he does dabble in the ideals of the far right. His government name is Nicholas, and he's about 26 years old. But if you don't remember him, he's been on stuff such as Fresh and Fit podcast, and he also been on like Aiden Ross podcast, so he's been pretty much around. However, him rejoining Ye's team and teaming up with Ye is probably the best way to evolve his platform and increase his followers, even despite all of the bad rep that Ye is getting right now. But check out this Instagram right here as he gets candid on how he got rehired.
How I ended up, this is actually, if you want to see how I got back on, it's literally this clip. It's literally a clip from Sneo Updates. So shout out to Sneo Updates first off. This clip.
I just fucking Jewish things.
That got me back on. So, just the fact, this here alone. And I don't want to spell it out for you. I don't want to you can understand why, right? You get it?
But anyway, back to the Piers Morgan interview. Needless to say, Ye definitely dodged the bullet because Piers was on his BS. Seems as if he definitely had some pent-up resentment from obviously Ye and Sneo talking about him on the live stream and missing their interview the day prior.
He kept all my crew in Spain and here waiting and then wasted their time. And then he got us all back now and you wasted our time again. And you again may find that funny and entertaining, and that's fine. I don't. I think it's a total waste of everyone's time and effort and money.
At this point, Piers Morgan was literally foaming at the mouth. So I did feel bad for Sneo for actually having to stay there and witness that. But at the end of the day, Sneo caught him because the whole time, Piers Morgan was just literally upset about all the time and money he spent with his team in trying to have it coordinate this interview with Ye and Sneo. But his entire agenda, ultimately, was to try to get Ye banned off of X. Seems like Piers Morgan's whole narrative was to get Ye banned off of X due to hate speech. However, Sneo was quick-witted and defended Ye, especially surrounding the hypocrisy and being censored, and obviously Piers Morgan's show title.
See it as well. Your show is called Piers Morgan Uncensored.
Yeah.
You tried to get him censored on X.
I mean, Sneo is dropping facts. I mean, how do you title your show Piers Morgan Uncensored and try to make it your entire objective to get Ye censored?
That nuance right there, it's idiotic.
And if you don't know who Piers Morgan is, that probably makes sense because he's not as global as Ye, nor does he have the following. However, he used to be a columnist for this big newspaper in Britain called The Sun. But many people know him from the TV show Britain's Got Talent. He also could have been seen side by side with Simon Cowell as one of the hosts for that said show.
I like Hitler. I do not. The Holocaust is not what happened. Let's look at the facts of that. And Hitler has a lot of redeeming qualities.
Although Ye has been going on this similar rant through various interviews and live streams and saying how much he loved Hitler and obviously releasing new music, I like to believe that Ye is not anti-Semitic. And I do believe that there's a very thin line, but there is a line between hate speech and obviously our first constitutional right of freedom of speech. And so obviously the same sentiment of the misunderstanding that he had when he said slavery was a choice, I think there's a deeper meaning and people are not looking past the superficial meaning. However, I feel that also Ye should get the same treatment as a lot of his white counterpart public figures, such as Paula Deen.
The fool with niggas, nigga people.
And even the filmmaker, Quentin Tarantino, who unapologetically says the N-word, and if people didn't like it, then they shouldn't watch his work. So why doesn't Ye have the same creative license to speak freely as an artist? Obviously, I don't condone in any hate speech or anything anti-Semitic. However, I do have to pose this food for thought. So if we're in a country where we even print on our dollars "In God We Trust," how come we have churches and people that worship Satanism and say openly that they like Satan, but it's a problem for Ye to say that he loved Hitler? It's a question of what is freedom of speech and what is simply an opinion. However, I would like to mention that, again, I don't believe that Ye is anti-Semitic. I also believe that this is the true reasoning to why Ye keeps saying that he loves Hitler so much.
So this is the reasoning that Ye said. The reason that Ye is supporting that is because the Jewish people that run music, that run media, that run Hollywood is only portraying black people that are twerking, getting high, unaliving themselves. So if they can exploit black people that way, he's doing this with the Hitler thing to take something that's egregious to Jewish people and putting it in their face and saying, if you don't like this, then stop propagating our people that way.
I absolutely believe that Kanye West is definitely doing this to get back at Jewish executives that are propagandering people like Sexy Red and Cardi B, but also to the rap artists as well that are male, that are exemplifying violence and murder. I do believe that two wrongs don't make a right, and I think that Kanye is obviously proposing himself to be quite a martyr in this instance. However, we all know that Kanye West is a genius, and he loves people, and he loves God. So I think that we have to give him some grace. Obviously, he's going through a lot of different things, especially with the nitrous oxide, which is a real thing. And I think more things are going to unfold. But ultimately, what do you guys think?